account. Yeah. So how to create an app, go to MecSimCalc.com, sign up for an account at https MecSimCalc.com/account/signup. Hover over to a 3x3 square icon on the left Explore page, click an app, choose a template, and create a new blank app and create your app. So I have some more slides with pictures just to show, and then I'll also show you it live. So front page of MecSimCalc, sign up for an account. It just requires like a full name and email and a password. There's an Explore page where you can view like apps that people have created. And in that Explore page, you can go hover over to that 3x3 matrix looking icon in the top left. And it should give you options for My Apps, Explore Apps, and Create App. So you click on Create an App. And so it gives you options between the basics, files, and maps for templates. So these are just templates like the basics is just like a blank slate. Files is like a template that allows you to upload files. So like one thing you can do with MecSimCalc is you can like upload an Excel spreadsheet and then process that through your Python code and then output it. And there's also maps. So we have like Folium and I think Leaflet.js was the other one. Can't remember, but we do have map libraries which allow you to use make use of some interesting applications. I'll show you some of the apps that were created using these different libraries. And so you choose a template. Usually I just go with create a new blank app. The examples are more there to show you an example of like a table app or a plotting app or numerical app. So if you still want a little bit more information on how to create an app, you can click on one of those examples. But if you're familiar with, I guess all you really need is just to be familiar with Python. Just click on create a new blank app. So from here, you just name your app, give it a description, category, tag, and then give it some images, so like a favicon image, primary image, secondary image. And then from there, it's just setting the inputs. So it's drag and drop inputs, set whatever inputs you want, write the code. So you will be able to import those inputs into your code, play around with the variables, and then return the outputs. And then those outputs that get returned in your code, you can then put into the output screen to output like text and your variables. So before we go to questions, I'll just do a live demonstration on how to use this. So, okay, can you guys see my screen if I'm showing like the MecSimCalc page, or is it still showing the presentation? Okay. Yeah, so okay, so let's just look at the Explore page first. So these are some apps that were created. When we had our hackathon, we labeled all the ones. And for you guys, if you guys do use MecSimCalc for your hackathon project, you should tag it as Vivid Hacks, just so that we can like, if someone were to search for it, you can find it. So these are all the apps created for our hackathon. They were labeled as Comp 0709 2022 just because it was on July 9th. And so the winner was actually iMedic. So this app right here. And so this app is just, it's like it was created by a group of 3. They're all high school students, and they pretty much just use machine learning to do diagnostics for like lung, bronchial cancer detection, COVID-19 detection, heart, cardiovascular disease, and then they even did like a chaos dynamics and systems computation thing. So that was a cool app. We also had things such as Javelin Power Saver, which was like an app that if you were to put in the power usage of an appliance and the hours you used it per day, it could tell you the power rating and the total kilowatt hours of all your appliances. We also had some that were like not computational, but like more for this one, you have to upload an image. So I won't go over this one too much, but this grids for artists, pretty much just you upload an image, set some dimensions and how many grids you want, and it'll just apply a grid to whatever image you want so that it makes it easier for you to paint or draw. So yeah, so those are some examples of apps you can make. Some apps that I've made. I made a few. I've made like a workout planner, some math, like linear algebra calculators, and then some circuit analysis calculators for electrical engineering. So let's get into making an app. So well, you'd normally sign up, but I'll just sign into my account. Okay, so once you've signed in or signed up, you'd go up to here, this 3x3, and you'd go to create an app. And then from there, I'll just go with the basics and then create a new blank app. And so let's call this app Darren's A times B calculator. So this calculator is just going to return, I forgot how to spell calculator. It's just going to return A times B. So description, this calculator multiplies variables A and B. Okay, category, this is math. Tags, let's just call it. We can, for tags, you can make new tags. Categories, they have set categories, but tags, let's just call this Vivid Hacks. Oops, Vivid Hacks. Add tag. Okay, and then anyone can use this app, and then I won't add any images for now. And then for inputs, let's just say these are the variables. And so when you go into your inputs, you can edit it. So input type is if it's a number, text, file, single select, multiple select. We're just going to stick with number input because we're inputting numbers. Name, so we're going to call this A. Label A. So name is what shows up in your code section. So that's the variable it gets imported as when you're writing your Python code. And then A is the label that shows up on the input screen itself. So we're just going to call it A. And then units. Units are like if you're doing a calculator that uses like meters or kilograms, just to specify units. It's really important to specify units if you're doing some sort of calculator, like a physics calculator or something, just because it will make it so that people aren't confused. Default value. Default value is just like setting a default value for the inputs. It's good to have like a default value that wouldn't return like a 0 or an error. Just so that if anyone wants to test your app, they can just click submit right away using the default values. And then they wouldn't have to worry about whether or not the app will run. So I have A and B as my inputs. We can even add like another input. Let's just say text input. Let's just put a text. So you drag and drop this text input. Oops, drag and drop. Then you can adjust it. And then we can just do something like message. So this is like an optional message that you want to my message. And the default value, I'll just do hello. Okay. So onto the code. When you get to your code, you don't really have to worry about this. These are just like default values. You can just get rid of these. All you really need is the define main function and the return function here. And so, or actually no, you need to keep the inputs for the main. You just don't need this return and whatever's inside. So you can click over here to input variables. And in input variables, you can copy and paste all the input variables that you have. So you have A, B, and message here. So let's just do, okay, let's just do our product is equal to, so we're going to take A times inputs B. So that's our product. And then we can just do message equals inputs message. And so to return it, it's returned as a dictionary. So you would just do something like return product, or yeah, product. And so this in the quotation marks would be what you would refer to the variable as in the output. And so product is our variable product, which we defined in our main function. And then you just separate it by a comma. And then message is message. So here should be good, I think. Yeah. So we go to our output. And so here you would just click on output variables, and these are product and message, which we returned from that function earlier, right? So we could just do this. Or we can set it to a header actually. And let's make the color green and bold and italic and underlined. Okay, so, and let's also even just, okay, no, never mind. I think that's too much. So the product of A, or even then, we can also return A and B. So let's also do that as well. So let's call A our input, just so we can return our inputs into our output as well. So B is equal to inputs B. So we'll also return A as A and B as B. Okay. So now for our output, we can do the product of, so output variables A, we can paste that right there, and B is, and then take our output for our product is this. My message is, and then we can just take the message and put it there. So let's just make this all green. And okay. Now documentation, documentation is just there to explain what your app does. So we can just write here, this app returns the product of two numbers. It also prints out a message specified by the user. Okay, so let's preview our app. So we set variables as 10, 20, and hello. So we can click submit. And so yeah, so the product of 10 and 20 is 200. My message is hello. We can change this to hi, and we can change this to 5 and 5. The product of 5 and 5 is 25. My message is hi. So once you finish that, you can publish your app. So we'll publish it. And then from there, you can just share as a link, embed, email, Twitter, Facebook. Oops. And yeah, it should show on the Explore page under recently created. And yeah, so you created an app in like 10 minutes, and then you're able to share it with whoever. So that's like the main thing that we really like about MecSimCalc is just the speed of which you can create an app and how simple it is. So does anyone have any questions about anything?